Welcome back to Hi Guys, it's your boy BDR and I'm back with another AQ Worlds class overview. Now today's class is going to be about Glaceran Warlord. Now the thing about Glaceran Warlord, it's basically, a duplicate of the Glaceran Warlord class that came out 11 years ago. They basically brought it back, gave it a new look, new animations and whatnot. So yeah, we're going to be taking a look at this class, see how it is, support, farming, and the final verdict. Now then, how to obtain Glacial Warlord at the moment. As recording of this video, you can, buy it off of Quibble, which can give you the Dark Glacial Warlord for about, 2500 ACs. I don't agree at all that this class should be 2500. I think it should be 2000. That's just my opinion. A bit pricey. Other than that, I'm pretty sure the other ways you can get it. I mean, there is the Savage Glacian Warlord, which is seasonal, which you have to wait all the way to February, which it will return every year in the February seasonal shop for the same price. And yeah, that's pretty much, that as well, to how to obtain the Glacian Warlords. Now then, for the skills. Skills of the class: Glacial Warlords gain mana when they are struck by an enemy, more effective on crits, and are struck by an enemy in combat. Alright. We got the auto attack, powerful blow, 2.75 second cooldown, physical, short range, one target. An attack that strikes with full force but takes longer to build up power. If Frozen Heart isn't active, applies Cryopathy to your target, reducing their damage resistance by 5% for 15 seconds, stacks to 10. Then we have Frozen Heart. Very important skill. 10 mana, 2.5 second cooldown, physical, short range, one target. Activates Frozen Heart while active. Frozen Heart reduces your damage resistance by 50%, causes all skills to crit, and changes the properties of your other skills. Use again to remove Frozen Heart. Can't miss. Then we have Bitter Cold. 15 mana, 7 second cooldown, physical, short range, one target. A chilling attack that freezes your target to the core, setting them for 1 second. If Frozen Heart isn't active, applies Frigid to your target, reducing their crit chance by 20% for 10 seconds. If Frozen Heart is active, applies Cold Wave to your target, reducing their dodge chance by 20%. The rank 3 skill, Glacier Crush, 25 mana, 12 second cooldown, a short range physical attack, one target. Attack with the might of a glacier. If Frozen Heart isn't active, applies Bone Chill to your target, reducing their haste and outgoing damage by 30% for 15 seconds. If Frozen Heart is active, applies Frozen Ferocity, increasing your hit chance by 20 and haste by 10% for 15 seconds. Then we got the rank 4 passives. We got the Heavy Armor Master. Damage resistance increased by 50 and physical resistance increased by 20%. And Strong Arm, strength increased by 50%. Then we have our rank 5 skill, Warcry, 10 mana, 14 second cooldown, physical, an infinite range skill that heals 7 friendly targets. If Frozen Heart isn't active, it heals you and up to 6 allies while applying Warlord's Rally, increasing crit chance and damage resistance by 25% and reducing mana cost by 50% for 20 seconds. If Frozen Heart is active, heals you and applies Warcry, healing you over time and increasing your crit damage by 75%, wow, for 20 seconds. And the rank 10 passive, Skull Crusher. We all need a Skull Crusher in our lives. Let's see, starting at rank 1, all skills can't crit unless Frozen Heart is active. At rank 10, if Frozen Heart is active, Powerful Blow applies Skull Crusher, increasing your outgoing damage by 5% for 15 seconds, stacks to 10. Okay, so what we can gather so far from this class is that, Frozen Heart is a really important skill. It could apply, when Frozen Heart is active, it could apply other skills. And, without Frozen Heart, other skills get to be applied like Frigid and, Bone Chill. And one, plus this class can actually, provide a heal and buffs as well to the party. So we could say it's like this class seems like it's going to be doing a lot of crit damage, and it could also support as well. We can gather from there so far. Now then, let's get started with the combos and enhancements. Alright guys, so this is the build that we're rocking with Glaceran Warlord. It is a tank melee class. I mean, with all its damage resistance and whatnot, it's kind of like a tank. Alright, so for the weapon we have Valiant. Valiance is pretty good, increases the core stats, whatnot for 30 seconds. Now, in terms of substitutes, I mean, you can probably, rock with Dauntless. Dauntless if you, prefer more damage, per se. Lucky because obviously this class loves critting, and Lucky is based on crits. Vainglory, for more damage. And our heals at times will be fine. Even with Vainglory active, reducing healing intake. And Anima for that 10% hit chance, which, increases our strength. Now then, before we get started, Glacial Warlord kind of has two modes. Offensive and defenses. Offense obviously is DPS, and defenses is more so if you're in a party slash supporting. Now we get out of the way, I'm gonna show off, both of them here, both the offensive and defense, starting with the offensive. So for your offensive combo, you're gonna want to do 2, 3, 5, 2, 2, 3, and 4, and use 5 again when it cools down. Now this class, like I said earlier, this class can, dish out crits. It's like that's its major key, just dishing out crits as soon as you can. Warcry fades, we're gonna, Frozen Heart again. This class has pretty nice animations as well. Add that as well. Now we're getting that 75%, crit chance. So far, so good in terms of damage. So far, in terms of damage, this is really like pretty good. Oh, damn. 22k. 22k. Okay. That's pretty nice. 25,000. Wow. While in the DPS mode, 27k. Wow. Now that Warcry is active, now we got that 75% crit chance, and oh damn, 30k right there. Minute 26, nearly 670k damage, and the heal over time is pretty nice. So that's pretty much, the DPS build of it. Now then, an important thing to note: if you have when Frozen Heart is active, you'll get this little like icicle falling around. That basically tells you that, yeah, Frozen Heart is active. So that's like a very important note to follow here. Now then, let's look at the support build slash defense build. Alright guys, for the secondary, build, this is basically the defensive slash support. Here's the build. I would put Avarice here, but I don't have Avarice at the moment. I'm farming it at the moment, and Vim is for 33% less mana consumption. So that's basically it. For your combo, you're gonna want to do, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, and then, just repeat the combo. Now, the thing about this build is that it's more defensive, meaning, obviously less DPS and before, but you are offering more support to the party. So your sort of DPS in the party, your Chaos Avengers, your Void High Lords, your Chronos, that's basically all that you're doing. You're offering support to the party. That's all that you're doing at the cost of DPS. That's pretty much it. You're you're providing support at the cost of DPS. Now you can, frozen frozen hard a bit. You can get yourself like a little crit action going. Obviously, if you paired up with, support such as, Lord of Order, Revenant, etc., you are going to be doing more damage. So, this exchange is perfectly fine in my opinion. And yeah, do this, crit a little, act to it. And yeah, that's basically it for the support build. In conclusion, use this build when you're in a party, a challenge fight. Now then, let's move on to farming. Alright then, don't use this class in terms of farming because they're all short range, single attack skills. So yeah, don't use this class for farming. Alright then, let's move on to survivability. Alright, so in terms of survivability, eh, this class does have some survivability. It can, stun, apply debuffs, but when it comes down to like hard enough, monsters, this class, can struggle even with, HP and whatnot. So, in some fights you do have to watch out because, there are certain boss fights that, that can't be stunned. So yeah. Survivability, it's decent, but for some fights. In other fights, it can get one shot, two shot, even with, the debuffs and whatnot. Plus, some bosses nowadays can't be stunned or straight up immune to certain effects. Alright then, let's move on to support and final thoughts. Alright guys, so in terms of support, this class offers a handful of support. Example, your 3, 4, and 5, what your 3 does, it could reduce their crit chance. If Frozen Heart isn't active, reduces haste and outgoing damage by 30% with Glacier Crush. And Warcry heals up to 7 friendly targets and reduce mana cost by 50%. And, damage resistance by 25%. So in terms of support, it's offering a bunch of support to the party and in group fights as well. Now then, the pros about Glaceran Warlord is that, in DPS mode, it is a good soloer, while it could provide, vast amounts of crits and DPS. And in defensive mode, it is offering a handful of support as well, making it for like effective boss clears. And it could be used in, these 7-player challenge fights as well. Now then, the cons about Glaceran Warlord is that 1, it's pricey. It is 2,500 ACs. Like I said earlier, I don't agree with it being 2,500 ACs. It should be 2,000 ACs like the rest. That at times you are going to run into mana problems, especially if you don't have Vim active in the DPS mode with Anima, you are going to run into mana problems unless you have Vim. Obviously, with Vim, you are going to lose out on a bit of DPS compared to Anima. And, the survivability, you do have to spam your heals, otherwise you'll just get one shot, two shot by the bosses. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the cons. My final verdict about Glaceran Warlord is that it is a pretty good class if for soloing and support. I recommend getting this class, for its support and soloing capabilities. And also if you do have the 2,500 ACs disposable to do it, as it is, one of the few non-chrono classes that are worth buying for ACs, alongside Arch Paladin and to some extent, Arachnomancer and Archfiend. It's just that with Glaceran Warlord, I feel like if it were 2,000 ACs, you'll see a lot more people use it. So yeah, that's pretty much been it for the Glacian Warlord overview. You know, if you do miss your window to buy Dark Glacian Warlord, I mean, you could. I mean, February it does come back every February as Savage Glacian Warlord, which is basically, you know, the same thing as Dark Glacian Warlord, just in its regular color, its standard colors instead of the Black Obsidian Gray. So yeah, guys, that's basically been it for the Glacian Warlord overview. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and yeah, hi guys, out.